Have you ever tried to use AI into your business but it didn't work? Hey, it's Jacob. Welcome to this new video. Today I want to talk about AI in business and how you can implement AI so that you are not making the mistakes that everybody is making. Meaning that you might have tried to implement AI into your business because you saw videos online everywhere where people say, I automated my business with AI and here's how to do it. I'm not here to tell you that, right? That's not a video about that. Because the problem is, it's not quite that simple. Because those people, usually what they're doing is they're using a specific tool that is based on AI, right? Provided that they are not using a general AI like ChatGPT. Usually they use a specific tool. And that specific tool might be something that, usually it's a paid tool that was developed by programmers and that is sold to you. The problem is those tools here, they are not really working as expected. And why is it? What is the problem with those tools? The first thing is maybe they're too complicated. So you are not that technical and maybe you are not able to implement those things, right? Or maybe they are easy to implement, but here is the thing: the troubleshooting is the issue, and that's really usually what it comes down to: the troubleshooting, or there's the troubleshooting, but also like the added feature. Like adding feature is very complicated because usually those tools are for a specific use and you're not going to be able to expand on those, so it's just not a possibility. But now why is troubleshooting an issue? Let me clear that up and let's go back to troubleshooting. Troubleshooting is an issue because you are going to have, like, this is going to be your the curve of your, let me start again, the curve of your learning about that tool and the way you are going to improve. And then what's going to end up happening is you're going to have an issue and then you're going to go back to zero, and you're not going to be able to fix that issue. Why is that happening? Well, because the troubleshooting here is not something that is easily that's not something that you can fix, right? Because it wasn't implemented in a way that allows you to troubleshoot. So this is just what happens when you use tools that are just off the shelf because they are for a specific problem or a specific audience, but the actual way that they're making it work is by reducing the number of use cases that it's used for. And then when something is out of those use cases, then it just doesn't work and you cannot fix it. So what is the solution then? What should you do if you want to implement AI into your business? And the solution is actually create your own tool using a programming language. So a programming language is the solution, usually, right? Let me emphasize that part because that's really what it comes down to. What is a programming language? Like the problem with programming language is they think it's really complicated, and they think that, sometimes they're not really that, that technical. So they're not going to be able to do that. The problem is, again, the other tools, the other ways that you think are easier are actually 10 times more complicated. And why is that? Because let's go back to the troubleshooting thing. The troubleshooting for a programming language is actually kind of solved already. Why? Because there is documentation already available. So you're not gonna have issues fixing your problems. Now another thing is AI, right? It's kind of meta because that's what we're talking about. But here in this case, I'm talking specifically about AI for implementing a programming language, using a programming language. AIs can actually implement that for you. They're going to do a really, really good job at implementing, for example, like Python. It's the easiest programming language there is. And an AI is not going to make that many mistakes implementing Python code. Now, if it does make mistakes, guess what? You can feed the error here. Let's say this is the error. You can feed it back to the AI and fix it that way. And it's gonna actually work, right? Because again, an AI is really, really good at doing that. Now, my assumption is the reason for that is because, well, the AIs have been implemented by coders. And so people usually try to basically fix their own issues. And so that's one of the main things that they really, really worked on and they really nailed in terms of AIs, right? Like they're really, really good at fixing and at implementing code. So that's the reason why it's so powerful at doing that. Now, it doesn't stop here because it's going to also help with adding new features, right? Because a programming language, that's the point of it, right? You're not going to be restricted by anything at all. You're always going to be able to expand on what you've already done. And you can also like make it like, step by step, meaning that you can keep expanding with like incrementally, right? Like iteratively. Like it doesn't have to be a big task. You can just do it little by little by little, and then by the end of it, like after let's say a few months, or even after a year, or like it might be even after a few years. Like, can you imagine the type of tools that you're gonna create if you keep doing that? So that's pretty much the idea here. And if you want to be part of my contacts, you can click on the link in the description. I created an online course for you if you want to create your own AI today, and it's packed with value. So don't hesitate if you're interested in the topic. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.